Hi, Brooke with Stable Canine Training here again with another Have a Stable Dog tip. Today's tip is about place command. So place command is another option to have, another tool in your toolbox to limit your dog's access to things, whether it be guests. When guests come over, you can put your dog onto this place cot that I'm going to describe. If it's just getting a little chaotic in your house, the dog is chasing the kids, or it's just getting a little hectic, you can send your dog to this place cot. And it comes in really handy in a lot of scenarios. You could bring that place cot along to, Thanksgiving or Christmas, or if you're hanging out at a friend's house and you can send your dog to this cot, they're going to know to stay on that cot until you release them. It's kind of like an invisible crate. So over here, I have a cot leaning against the back of this couch. The key to teaching place command is that the cot is not accessible to the dog free choice. So for example, the cot is not out and they are laying on it while you're watching TV at night, getting on and off at leisure, or it's out in the yard and they can just kind of come and go on it as they want. This would be very confusing for the dog if then all of a sudden you told them place and were giving them some sort of correction for leaving the place cot. That'd be very confusing. So I have either multiple cots and one is designated just for place command, or my dogs actually don't use a cot for any other reason except when I'm giving them the command. So I have several of them in my house leaned up against the wall. This one's here just for this video. And then when I'm ready to give the command, I'm going to go flip the cot down and say place and send my dog onto it. So I'll demonstrate with Piper here. She knows this, but there's a good chance she may decide not to go on the cot when I tell her, because she's a rat terrier and she's my daughter's dog, and there's some inconsistency in her training, let's just say. So I'm going to flip it down, and then I'm just going to tell her place. If she doesn't go on it, she wants to because she knows what it is, I'm going to use leash pressure. Also, I don't let them go on the place cot until I say it. So even though I flipped it down and she was already ready to just go get on there because she knows what that's for, I'm not going to let her choose that. I'm going to make sure it's always on my terms. So now I'm saying, Piper, place. And see if she decided not to go on, so I just use a little leash pressure. Now, she hasn't done this in a while, so I'm going to keep holding the leash, and I'm just going to stand here and be peripherally watching her. And the idea with it is, and this is the same as when you're teaching it, think of it like the floor is lava. So I don't want to wait until she's already all the way off the cot to go grab her and bring her back on the cot. I want to stay at a distance that the dog has achieved in the training so far. So right now, I'm just going to keep holding the leash. If this was a new dog on the cot, I would be standing here holding the leash. See how there's slack in the leash? I'm not holding a tight leash, and then I'm also not staring at her and holding her on there with my body language or my eyes. I'm turning my body, I'm relaxed, but I'm peripherally watching her. And as soon as I see her paw go to make a move off this cot, I'm going to correct with a verbal interrupt, maybe a leash pop. I'm going to do something like, ah, and it's just going to teach them like, oh boy, the floor is lava, and stay on this cot. I don't tell them STAY, SITDOWN, any of those things. I just put them on it and they can choose what they want to do. Most dogs, once they learn this, they usually just lay down pretty quickly. Now, when I'm going to take her off the cot, again, like I mentioned, they should stay on this, doing whatever position they want, but the whole bottom line is to not come off. And when they do come off, they're going to be waiting for my release word. My release word is FREE. So when I say that, I'm going to say it to her and I'm going to do like a hand motion. So I couple the two just so she's really clear on that I'm releasing her. Piper, free. And sometimes she'll kind of hesitate coming off because she's pretty sticky on there. And then I'll just use a little leash pressure. So if she was a new dog, sometimes I'll use food. Like I have a little piece of food here. To introduce it, just again, counter conditioning, positive association. Piper, place. Yes. And then I would give her food. Piper, free. So with a new dog to place, I'll do lots of reps like that. I'll use food, send them to it, release them, send them to it, release them, until they get really good at going to it. Then I'm going to start to send them to it and have more time between that and when I release them. And then I fade the food too. So now Piper's been doing this a little longer, so I can just send her over. Piper, place. And I'm going to drop the leash. Again, I'm peripherally watching her, so if she breaks, I will correct her. But then what you do is over time, you increase your duration that they're on there and the distance you are from them. So I might graduate in a few days of her being really good on this to sitting over on this bench. Or you can't see, but right over here is a table. I guess you can see the end of the bench right here. I might go sit over here and work on something, but in a position where I can still be kind of watching her. And you just keep building how much time they're on there. So once they get really good at this, you can send a dog to this. Like, for example, this dog. When someone comes over to this front door right here, she gets very excited. She's at the door. She's ready to jump all over them and be really excited. So if I flip that down and tell her place, she will run over and go on her place cot, and she knows to stay on that while there's a guest over. Even though it's very tempting and exciting, she will stay on there. So it's just removing her access, removing her freedom to do the things I don't want her doing, which is jumping and being excited and scratching people's legs and mouthing. So it gives her a job to do. You can use this if you're eating dinner and you have a dog that begs at the table. Have a place cot on the other side of the room. Put them on that before you eat dinner, while you're making dinner. Maybe while you're watching TV, if you have a dog that comes over and is, demanding, trying to get you to play, or dogs that demand bark when they're trying to be pushy, when you're just sitting relaxing, teach them the place cot. You can send them over to the place command. So it comes in really handy. Another thing you can do, just a little extra tip, you can lay a rug on top of this. So let's say you get them pretty good at this place command over a few weeks' time. You can lay a rug on top of it, and then you can gradually over time fade the legs of this to where you're sending them to just a rug. So that's really handy. You can bring that rug along to all kinds of places, restaurants, breweries. You bring that out and set it on the ground. You tell your dog place, and they stay on this mat. Just makes them so much more manageable. And again, our goal is to have this stable dog that we can take everywhere and do everything with and enjoy. So this is just another tool in your toolbox to make that more manageable. So that's the tip for today. Work on that, and we'll see you next time.